They say that fear resides in the unknown, and the house next to yours has always been a shroud of mystery, inhabited by an old recluse known for his eccentricity and disappearance in broad daylight. The town folklore was rife with tales of the old man's curse that haunted anyone who dared to trespass on his property. You dismissed these stories as just rumors spreading fear, until one fateful night, unintentionally, a football from your backyard game ended up on his lawn. With trepidation filled in your heart, you ventured onto his eerily silent property. The moment your foot stepped onto his lawn, a sudden chill ran down your spine, and a loud, haunting scream echoed across the vicinity. The dark house seemed to awaken, its window panes rattling violently. The grating noise of metal echoed, turning into a skin-crawling symphony of terror. The air thickened with a ghostly wrath, a spectral terror taking ominous form before your eyes. You were too shocked to move, gripped by sheer terror, and then... It was upon the stroke of midnight, on a peculiarly silent night, when 7-year-old Amelia received an antique doll for her birthday. The seemingly innocent toy, clad in a moth-eaten Victorian gown, held an aura of weeping nostalgia, serving as a whispered reminder of a bygone era. Amelia was initially amused, but as the pitch-black night crawled in, so did the inexplicable whispers that danced around her room, a ceaseless, eerie hum escaping from the antique doll. Night after night, the whispers permeated Amelia's dreams, drawing her towards an undisclosed secret that hung heavy in the air of the once cheerful family home. An uncanny melody, persistent and somber, led her to an ancient, forgotten trunk in the attic containing chilling photographs of her ancestors and an identical, chillingly grim doll. As she gazed at the lifeless dolls resting amidst the sepia-tinted images, the truth unfolded. They were all born on the same date, sharing the same fate, a life cut short on their 7th birthday, a secret her family. Night after night, an eerie ritual echoed in the silence of my room. The familiar whispers from beneath my bed, sounds so soft they could be mistaken for the wind. Each night I dismissed them as figments of my imagination, until a brand of courage took me over. Descending eyes first into the abyss under my bed, a torture on my senses, a lurking terror, awaited my attention. Rows upon rows of beady eyes stared back at me. In the cold darkness, I could make out unrecognizable forms, each whispering, each pleading in a language alien and yet somehow familiar, their cries tugging at the deepest, darkest corners of my consciousness. Their presence, once hidden, now permeated each moment of my solitude. As fear gripped me in its icy grasp, a stark realization dawned upon me. I was not alone, and the company I kept was not of my kind. My room, once my sanctuary, had turned into a purgatory of inexplicable horrors. From the moment I inherited the porcelain heirloom, my world began to unravel. It wasn't just a doll. Night after night, I would wake up to whispers, as soft as a lullaby, yet chilling to the core. The secrets it harbored were impossible, yet impossible to ignore. The doll knew about my great-grandmother's forbidden love, the tragic death of my uncle, secrets so ancient they were almost forgotten, and others so fresh they were raw. As the whispers grew louder, it was clear that this porcelain child was more monster than toy. The worst part? The doll began hinting at my own secrets, reciting things that sent shivers down my spine. Shadows began to follow me, ghostly figures lurked in the corners of my vision. I wished to retain my sanity, to rip away the veil of terror, yet the whispers were relentless, worming their way into my waking thoughts. The doll had taken possession of not just my home, but my mind. A moment of reckoning arrived, one frosty... The quest for the perfect love can lead us to unexpected places, and for some, it takes them right to the gates of an ancient, weather-worn graveyard. Hidden beneath a canopy of gnarled trees and shrouded in silence, this place harbors timeless secrets and spectral entities. One spirit stands out among the silent tombstones, its glowing form pulsating with a tender energy, whispering promises of eternal love to lost souls. One night, a lonely wanderer, desolate and heartbroken, was drawn toward the soft glow. The whisperings grew stronger, enveloping him in promises of undying love and companionship. His heart swelled with hope, his senses dulled by the intoxicating illusion of fulfillment. Little did he realize this was no ordinary spirit. Its touch, though tender, chilled the warmest hearts, leaving them lifeless. Its love, alluring yet deadly, claimed the souls who yearned it. As the wanderer surrendered himself to the spectral being, his body turned cold. His laughter echoed through the graveyard, now a cacophony of his new, forever eternal life. In the shadowy undergrowth of a remote jungle village, a doll maker labored in silence. Behind gnarled hands, his craft came to life. Eerie figures, mind-numbing in their detail, bearing the likenesses of those who had wronged him. Cursed by his own painful history, he set a chilling reprisal into motion each time his chisel kissed the wood. By the light of day, these wooden recreations looked nothing more than innocent companions for the village children. But, as the cloak of dusk descended, they stirred to life. Darkened eyes flickered open, their wooden limbs groaning with newfound mobility. Driven by the fury etched into their very core, they haunted the dreams of the guilty, their tiny hands delivering the nightmarish vengeance of the forsaken dollmaker. Amid the dense foliage and the echo of nocturnal creatures, inside each humble hut, his chilling revenge unfurled, making for a twisted bedtime tale, told in whispers, chilling the bones of young and old alike. Breakups can be haunting, but for me they are quite literally so. You see, it started just after my relationship ended, a breakup that has left me more shattered than I'd like to admit. But more daunting than the pain of losing my love was the sight of her visage in every mirror I set my gaze upon. There, reflected instead of me, a ghostly semblance of my ex-lover stared back from an unseen plane. It was as though she had somehow infiltrated my reflections, bringing back memories that led me further down a path of torment and heartbreak. As the days stretched into weeks, her spectral figure seemed less like an unwanted illusion and more like a haunting reality. It wasn't just the mirrors anymore. It was windows, water, even the shiny surface of my morning coffee, all bearing her image. With each occurrence, I sank deeper into the abyss of despair and agony. The more I tried to escape, to convince myself it was my mind playing tricks.
Once, a young girl found a forgotten dusty box in her grandmother's attic. Inside, she discovered an antique doll with eyes that were too realistic and a smile that was slightly too wide. Without fear, she began to play, lost in her own imaginary world with the doll as her companion. No sooner had her first tea party with the doll began than something bizarre happened. The doll's eyes lifelessly gazing before now opened, revealing a deep, ominous light that flickered within. As the girl screamed in terror, the doll began to speak in a raspy, ancient voice, announcing the commencement of a deadly game. The game was simple, hide and seek, but with a morbid twist. Every time the girl found the doll, it would mark her with an invisible symbol only seen by the creatures of darkness. Plagued by shadows, the girl spent her nights in fright with foreign whispers in her room. She tried to leave the game, but the doll was bound to her, forcing her to. Sometimes, solitude isn't all it's chalked up to be. Picture this: a stormy night, an old house settling down under the weight of the relentless rain. Just you, your company being the persistent drip drops against the window panes. The only other semblance of life is the flickering house lights, teasing you with sporadic bursts of light before plunging you back into darkness. A game of hide and seek, if you will. As the night deepens, however, you begin to notice something peculiar. The unpredictable light reveals a horror show of shadows. But they're not just any shadows. They seem to dance and morph into inconceivable shapes, as if putting on a silent show just for you. An icy chill courses through your veins as the realization hits you. You're not alone. Something or someone is in the house with you. As the chilling presence looms closer, the shadows grow darker and your heartbeat louder. Welcome to your nightmare. Now you know why you should, always, leave the lights on. Sometimes, solitude isn't all it's chalked up to be. Picture this: a stormy night, an old house settling down under the weight of the relentless rain. Just you, your company being the persistent drip drops against the window panes. The only other semblance of life is the flickering house lights, teasing you with sporadic bursts of light before plunging you back into darkness. A game of hide and seek, if you will. As the night deepens, however, you begin to notice something peculiar. The unpredictable light reveals a horror show of shadows. But they're not just any shadows. They seem to dance and morph into inconceivable shapes, as if putting on a silent show just for you. An icy chill courses through your veins as the realization hits you. You're not alone. Something or someone is in the house with you. As the chilling presence looms closer, the shadows grow darker and your heartbeat louder. Welcome to your nightmare. Now you know why you should, always, leave the lights on. Do you believe home is where the heart is, a haven of safety and comfort? Well, my journey into apartment 13 shattered that belief. Freshly moved in, I began to notice peculiarities. Every night, the wails of inconceivable pain would seep through the thinly veiled walls, accompanied by the relentless scratching, as if desperate souls were clawing their way out of a tormenting abyss. Ignoring the mania gripping me, I attempted interactions with my new neighbors, their faces blank canvases with eyes harboring wicked secrets. Any attempt at investigating the nocturnal horrors in apartment 13 was met with eerie silence, and a glance nervously darted towards their apartment door. One day, pushed to the brink by the constant symphony of fear, I fiercely knocked on their door. To my dismay, the door creaked open, revealing an abandoned apartment covered in an ethereal veil of dust and neglect, where echoes of terror still lingered. The neighbors, their cries, those horrifying scratches vanished, as if they never existed.